What the Americans are just beginning to understand is something that far too few people in this country have understood. Namely, in this country, the government is not fighting for the people in this country, but against the people in this country. And what he also brings up is feedback. No, criticism is feedback. And a government needs feedback. It should not be afraid of feedback, because only feedback is what allows progress.
JD Vance says is not just to care about Ukraine, as the American government says. He also says that if the situation in Germany remains such that one gets a house search for expressing their opinion, that one might even go to prison because they can't pay a fine for having expressed their opinion, then the American taxpayer is no longer willing to finance European and German security. Because then apparently the same values are no longer shared. Julius?
Yes, he announced it before the election. He did so in Europe during that remarkable, much discussed and criticized speech. Repeated it at the Munich Security Conference. And now here, once again, in clear words. What he also means by shared values is that freedom of expression is an integral part, namely, being allowed, even obliged, to mock the state. In order to show politicians what one finds good and bad. Protection against arbitrariness is not the election itself, but the ability to criticize and vote out the chosen option at any time. That is the protection against arbitrariness in a state. One does not have a free pass for 4 years to implement things against the declared majorities of all surveys that no one wants. And to suppress all of this with new phenomena like the delegitimization of the state, even though, of course, the current federal government, still the federal government, was the greatest delegitimization of the state in recent decades. That's what he means. He has announced it, as mentioned, and these shared values, if they are not present, freedom of speech, not being afraid of one's own people, but implementing what they want, representing them as it was originally intended, he makes that a condition. For the USA to even participate in any way? Regarding European security, and actually, Donald Trump, you could already hear it in 2016 and 2017, take care of your own stuff with the 2% NATO target, because it's your security. We are not standing like a deer in the headlights, but you could prepare for this for several years, but now it's being acted as if it's very surprising.
Theo, I find this statement by JD Vance not only remarkable, but honestly, I find it awesome, because I feel that the NATO security promise, which I have to clearly say, I have believed in all my life and always will, the promise that an attack on one is an attack on all is a profoundly meaningful institution from my perspective. But now, for the first time in my life, I feel that it applies not only to the abstract case of defense, the alliance case, but suddenly also, to my opinion, to my fundamental rights. America ties this alliance promise to the fact that Gio Winterfeld, Julius Reichelt, Ralph Schuler, Julius Bohm, Alexander Kistler, and all our viewers are simply allowed to express their opinions in peace.
Yes. I believe that what the Americans are currently understanding is something that far too few people in this country have understood. Namely, in this country, the government is not fighting for the people in this country, but against the people in this country. And what he also points out is that criticism is feedback, and a government needs feedback. It should not be afraid of feedback, because only feedback is what allows progress.